Welcome back. You are up front here on ENCA. Now, Sudan's former president, Omar al-Bashir, will be handed over to the International Criminal Court in The Hague to face charges. He's facing 5 counts of crimes against humanity and 2 counts of war crimes. These were allegedly committed during Sudan's military campaign in Darfur between 2003 and 2008. International relations consultant Charles Sinkala joins us now from our Cape Town studios to discuss this further. Doctor, thank you so much for coming through. Let me start with the fact that Omar al-Bashir appeared in court yesterday in Sudan on charges not related to the charges that we are discussing now at the ICC. And what do we make of the way that it seems the tide turned, or did it, against Omar al-Bashir in Sudan itself, that he once ruled with an iron fist and, could not be challenged, and there was then that whole protest movement which ousted him, and now he's standing trial before Sudanese courts. That alone, what do we make of it?
Yes, thank you very much, Lasizwe, for having me. Look, the charges and the prosecution of former President al-Bashir has got too many moving parts. You must remember very well what has been happening over the past years. But one, we have to think that because of the interest, Sudan is desperately trying to achieve the clear of credibility as a terrorist designation it has over the past. You remember in the 1990s, it hosted Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden, and they branded the country to be involved in terrorism and all sorts of things. As well, to the Sudanese government, they feel that that credibility clearance, would be vital, especially to the Americans, But as well, the thing is, they have to trust their court systems. It's unfortunate that as Africans we have failed to entrust our court systems to prosecute and persecute at the same time the matters relating to crimes against humanity, atrocities, and other high-profile crimes which has happened in Sudan. The evidence will be questionable, as well as if you look at the credibility of the International Criminal Court has been tainted over the years of selective prosecution, where ISIS has been branded as only prosecuting the African leaders. So in the absence of credibility of ISIS, and as well as Sudan not taking center stage, to prosecute the matters committed within their jurisdiction, I doubt if that process of trial through the ISIS, it will yield more results. And, with every conflict, there's a third party involved. America, they've been in the forefront in Sudan for many years. And at one stage, they've been accused or alleged to have been financing the wars. You must remember Sudan has split from South Sudan and many others, So it is completely a difficult time
Dr.
for al-Bashir and his government.
Part of the conversation then turns to the other African countries that, at the height of these ICC charges against Omar al-Bashir, basically stood with him, including South Africa, a country that whose government broke its own laws to protect him when he was in the country. And this whole narrative that sought to project him as a revolutionary simply because he was being pursued by the ICC, an institution whose credibility is not beyond question. Let's all agree on that, and that is being debated. But projecting him as a revolutionary being pursued by the West, ignoring some of the objective facts on the ground in Sudan. What do we make now when it's the Sudanese themselves who are now saying, we'll take this man and send him to the ICC? Do these countries, including South Africa, have egg on their faces?
Yes, it is very unfortunate that the narrative of South African government regarding al-Bashir in 2015 has been misunderstood or misquoted. You know, we have to understand the procedures of International Criminal Court to prosecute matters and to issue warrants of arrest for a sitting president. And I think that is of significant and important that people must understand that a case presented to the ICC has got procedures, you know, and who's supposed to report it and what investigation, and when a warrant of arrest should be issued. The person who brought up this matter to the ICC was not even supposed to bring up that matter, because the sitting president at the time, al-Bashir, was engaging with his judiciary system, and South Africa had no official correspondence. And if you look at the whole structure of Africa, we've got regional organization bodies where these cases are supposed to be, in a normal sense, presented, and from there then escalated to the AU as the mother body of the whole Africa. And from there, the AU have to decide whether a country within the jurisdiction of South Africa, I mean the continent, either South Africa or any other destination where the case can be prosecuted.
Right.
So before the case can be taken out. So these are the issues that we need to understand very, very critically.
Sure.
And so that we understand how the legal system of international law is concerned.
All right, Dr. Charles Sinkala, thank you so much for coming through and sharing your insights there. So what I take from that is that it's actually much more complex than many would think. This whole question of whether or not the countries that defended al-Bashir now have egg on their faces, and now that the Sudanese themselves have decided that if the ICC want anyone, because apparently that's the word, that whoever the ICC want in Sudan, they are willing to hand that person over, and this would include Omar al-Bashir.